Hi everybody, happy Sunday. Teresa with Indigo Moon Arts, and we're doing a little bit of ribbon talk. I have this beautiful bottle here. I've done a couple tutorials on it this morning since it's been painted. We've done the clay embellishments. We did the finial topper, if you can see that right here, that. And now we're gonna play with a little bit of ribbon. So I showed you how I chose my ribbon in the previous one, and I wanna show you how I apply it. So basically, I take a piece that's somewhere between like 36 and 42 inches, roughly. This is crinkle. It's also ½ inch. So if you're using 3/4 inch or 1 inch ribbon, you don't need as much. I'm obviously trying to cover this. It looks like about 1.5 inches in space. And because of that, with ½ inch ribbon, I'm going to need to go around multiple times. It's done on purpose. And I am leaving the ribbon loose, and I'm going up and, okay, the tighter you pull, the more of the crinkle comes out. See that? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm keeping it loose and I'm going up to the top to the bottom. I'm being purposely, like you see, I'm not even there. And I'm gonna come around this way, come around that way. And I think we're gonna do a little knot here. I'm just tying it. Oh, I like that. Okay, that works for me. So I can put a little knot in it just so that it holds its place. I'm gonna do that like that. Just put a little knot. Oops, I'm stuck on myself. And that knot, I kept it loose. Okay, and yeah, so that's kind of how I'm probably going to tack this. I don't like a bow. I'm going to end up tacking this a little bit, but for now, it's just going to get in my way while we do the jewelry findings. But that's it. That's all. The ribbon is like a messy hair bun. You know, you want to put it on kind of soft and haphazardly. Now, I've been considering adding another color just for dimension to pull in that rust that we've used, and I'm just playing with this to see how much I like it or don't like it. I could do a bow. Let's just see. Just curious, maybe. Ooh, maybe. The thing about it is, though, I think I want to show more jewelry on this bottle. So what I'm thinking about doing is tacking this in the back. I like the knot in the front. It's just a little bit of texture. I mean, I wish I could get feedback. What do you think? Brown and green, just green. I could put a bow here. I'm not gonna, but I'm gonna just do it for show. The crinkle ribbon gets in your way a lot when you're working with it because it just likes to get in my way. Anyway, you could do a bow. Oh, that's so pretty. See, sometimes I mess around and go, oh, I gotta have that. Now I can't undo it, right? So I like it. I don't like this, which I might tack. I'm going to cut off about here. All right, but I like it. So sometimes play, that's what happens. And I go, okay, don't mess with it. It's like when you get your hair in the perfect spot and then you go, okay. So that's how we did that, if you can see right there. Now I'm going to set this aside for a minute because jewelry comes in a minute, but we're going to go over and grab this bottle that is now officially dry. And I was playing with the top. So I put in one of those toppers. I used the Mod Podge, glued it down, and I coated it so I could paint it. It's got a kind of plasticky texture, so I wanted to make sure I took that away by covering it with Mod Podge. I did the same for this. I did the base in Mod Podge. You can kind of see it there in the light, and that's so that I could paint it black or brown or green or whatever. Because I want to tie these elements together. Let's see if I can get it closer. I want to tie the elements together. I don't like the silver. It doesn't match anything. I don't like the texture of the top here. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a paint color that I like for now, because you know we blend and we like to start with a color and then finish with different colors and blend it. So I think this green, shaking off camera, I think this green, which is a folk art chalk base, and it's called Spanish Moss. So pretty. There's certain colors I just really like. Spanish Moss is one of them. So I'm going to take the lid, as I always do, because all I'm going to do here is this. I am going to take one of my little foam brushes here and I'm going to dab it a little bit. Can you see what I'm doing? Let me back this bottle up. Something behind me here. I'm gonna dab it. I'm putting it on the brush, taking it off the brush, famously as I do. And I'm dabbing for texture. I don't like paint strokes. They don't do well by stuff. So, but what does is this nice little dabby brush does the perfect texture for this because it goes with the rest of the bottle. So I'm gonna touch a little bit of the top. We're gonna blend all of this. Blending is our friend, right? So we're gonna let this go like that. And you go, oh, that's not the same color. No, it is not the same color, but it is a color that we have available to us now. And that's where we're gonna start our blending. So we're gonna put the Spanish moss aside. We're gonna finish our dabbing, trying to cover that black as much as we can. All right, and then I'm gonna go get some black. And this, what about this guy? Well, I could paint him just black, which is what I was gonna do, but I'm gonna dab him too, just because. Dabby. But I think I'm actually just gonna paint him black for starters because this would be a nice technique to do after he's black. Let's just, now sometimes what I do, I blend on the spot. And what I mean by that is I'll mix colors rather than mixing them in a little mixer bowl like this. I do it right on the item I'm working with because I can. So I'm gonna take a paintbrush. I'm off camera here, I think. I'm gonna take one of my paint brushes in my dirty water right here. And I'm gonna drain it between my two fingers, drain. And then I'm gonna go get me some black paint. And where's my chalk black? Shaking off camera. And I'm gonna grab this and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. All right, again in the cap, I'm just taking a little tiny bit of paint. So I'm taking my brush, I'm dabbing it in, and I'm gonna blend this right here. I want the black because I don't like the silver. Okay, see what I'm doing? Now this paint, we're gonna at some point varnish because we Mod Podged the base, now we're painting it black. But you see I didn't clean I left the green on there and I just went in with the black on my brush. I didn't take it off. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Right? Covering that silver metal I don't want on this bottle. What's going on here? Is that peeling off? It might be. Okay, that's gonna be the $1 million question though. We're gonna have to see how this dries to see if that works. I probably shouldn't have coated the base, but there we go, let's do that. Anyway, now you can see that even unfinished, go in there and dab, because again, we don't want really paintbrush strokes. I'm just trying to cover as much of the metal. We don't want metal, right? Wherever you see metal, go back. We might need a second coat. Anyway, and I'm okay. I'm just putting that on top for now. Like that's what it's gonna be. Now see how much better that looks in that silver? That silver did not work, did it? It just did not work. And now I'm just gonna dab a little bit. Dabby. It's fine. I'm actually I didn't clean my brush. Okay. Now, if I had thought enough ahead, I would have done this when I was painting the bottle so I didn't have to do some extra blending later. I'm gonna clean my brush a little bit. I'm taking the black out because I don't want a lot of black in there. I'm not squeezing my brush, I'm just taking the excess water out. Okay. And I'm blending. It'll take a minute to get some blending right on this, but you see I went up into the base there. I'm using the paint that I have. I'm dipping my brush in the water, getting a tiny bit of water, taking it off. And it's all about the blending right now. It'll take me a minute, a couple different colors to get where I need to get. But at the moment, see, I'm just tapping. Your paintbrush does a lot more than, you don't have to always just do this painting motion. Sometimes tapping will help a little bit. Tap, tap, tap. You know, we're just mixing colors various ways. I'm going to get a tiny bit of this. This color is Savannah. Tapping that in there, getting a little bit of that color on my brush. Okay, going back. And again, I'm just trying to blend this to be more what it was before we started using just the black. Trying to blend these colors in a little bit. You can also, the one thing I like about the glass knobs is that you can go back and take the paint off. If you touch the knob, paint will scratch right off the black, so you don't have to worry. Try not to get it on there, but if you do, it's not a huge deal, because it scratches off, just like if you paint, you know, doors and you have the windows, you can just take a razor blade and scratch the paint off. Okay, so what we're doing, I'm just going down a little bit. I'm gonna have to go get a little bit of teal to make this blend with what we already had on the bottle. I'm just hiding some stuff, I'm blending, just using my paintbrush. Okay, now I need a tiny little bit of this tealy, this green that we used previously, because that's what's missing. I'm not sure that this is the right color, but I'm gonna, yep, look. I've used this cap before, but it doesn't, it just stays up there. I mean, it doesn't really, we're just gonna put a tiny little bit of green in there, little tiny bit, that we're gonna pick up with our brush when we wet it. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just putting this green in small spots, and then I'm gonna clean my brush. Okay. Cleaning my brush. Now I'm gonna have no more paint on it. It's gonna be clean. So this is all little tips and tricks for blending, and we're gonna remove the water. Now I have a brush that's fairly dry, and I'm just gonna go over and tap with my brush to blend these colors in a little bit. Tappy, 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 tappy. See that? And I'm just trying to make it more like the rest of the bottle. See, it's just, now it's starting to come together, because that green is down here in other parts of the bottle. Tappy, tappy, tap. And this is how we, okay. I hope y'all can see what I've done here. I'm just blending now down farther down the bottle. See, now there's that green that was necessary to pull in. There's some black going down there. Okay, there's that green. That's great, because that green is in other parts of the, there we go. Let's get some of that on our brush. We need some of that for blending, right? There it is. We got a lot of that up there, up there. That's all I'm doing. Up there. Tappy, 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 tappy. And then if I wanted to, I could take my brush, foam brush, and just dab a little bit to add some of that texture back. Look what we did. See what that does right there? Did you see what we did there? How amazing is that? There's just a little tiny bit of paint dried left on there, and it's putting those tiny little speckles. Can you see the speckles? That makes it look like this was all intentional, which it is. Intentional, that's what we do. We operate with intention. Again, I'm gonna have to do the back of this bottle, but we're just going over, and we're just, sometimes you put paint on, sometimes you take it off. We do various different types of things, but right now we're just trying to tie the top of the bottle back into the base of the bottle, and it doesn't have to be precise, and I'll tell you why. Okay, we'll go down a little farther on the neck so that it looks more blended. It looks like it was intentional. And that's one of those tricks with when you change colors and stuff, if you don't have the same paints. When you do stuff like that, you just tie it in. You go down farther and you add some of what you were doing farther up. You don't just leave it in the area you were covering. You bring it down and put it on other parts of your bottle so that it looks like it was done on purpose, right? So, okay, and the other reason we don't really care, we care, but the other reason it's not a big deal is most of this is going to be covered with ribbon, okay? And we're just making sure it all looks cohesive and intentional, and that's what we did there. Now look, you're not going to notice this at all when I am done. And this little brush isn't working very well for me. So what we're going to do is we still have to stipple. We need to stipple. So let me take one of these stippling brushes that I was using out of my dirty water. Clean it. Okay, dry it out a little bit. And now what do I want to do here? Okay, I could stipple with a little bit of that teal. Let's try that. I dabbed it from the lid just a little bit on my brush. It's a little excessive, but we're going to tap it off. We're tapping it onto our paper. See how much of that's gone now? Tap it off, tap it off. We're going to get it pretty empty. Tap, tap, right? Then we're going back in, light tap, barely touched it. Light tap, barely touched it. Barely touched it. Oops, except I ran the bottom of my bottle into it. That's okay. Tapped it, tapped it. Tappity tap, tap, tap. See what I'm doing? Just tying it all together. If I put some up here like this, and put some down here like this, looks like, okay, over here. I am barely tapping this. It's like an exercise in, not futility, but let's put some here. Now that we have some up here, let's put some here. Now what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to varnish this, because you just coat it with a paintbrush and some varnish. It seals it. That's all it is, right? Let's go up top more, shall we? Since it's a little darker up here, let's do it. Now, I don't think this is just sitting on top. This has not been attached. My finial hasn't been attached, if you can see it. Here, let me move it in the screen, but I got to get this paint I just put right there. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm just tapping. Tappity tap, tap, tap. Little tappies, right? Little tappies, little tappies. Now I'm going in other parts of the bottle. Little tappies. So I tied it all in. Now, I'm thinking for play here. Let's play. Never know which way we're going. We're just going to play a minute. I think I'm going to take I have two options here. This would be wild. This would change the whole dynamic if I used this beautiful, pretty blue teal. Look at that. I'm a little afraid to do it because it's a little bit too bold, so we're not going to do that. It's too blue. It'll work with blue and white, but it's not going to work on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our Rub and Buff Wax Metallic Finish. It's a gilding wax. And we're going to use our fingers again. Do you remember why we use our fingers? We use our fingers because we can feel. We can't feel with brushes. They're innate objects. So look, I'm putting this on my middle finger. There we go. Rub and Buff is more liquid than the Ink Gold. I'm tapping my finger and I'm doing a rub. I'm doing a rub. Let's do a little bit more. All right, a little bit more, tapping it off. Oh, yeah. Okay, see what we did instantly. We went from dull, pretty, but dull, to sheen. Ready? Oh, look at that. Now we have our metal, and that's how you do it. It's just that simple. That's how we turn it into metal. And then I'm going to do a tiny bit more up top, again, on my finger. It washes right off. Don't be afraid of that. And I'm just hitting those spots one more time, just making sure I've captured. I'm also going to tap this and hit the ridges. just like that. I'm just hitting the ridges. It'll put the tiniest bit of gold in spots. The other thing I would like to do, look at that. I'm coming off. See what I did there? Just on the edges, coming right off the, and I can do it on this side too. Just coming off. It extends the, yeah, it extends the scroll a little bit. See that? Ooh. You know, the play is part of the fun, right? Okay. So now that we've done this, and if we could even do multiple waxes. So let's go back to our original bottle over here. So we have this bottle where we use the Inca Gold. Well, who says you can't use 2 different types of waxes? You can. So I'm gonna put that on my finger right there. Let's add a little gold, shall we? And you don't have to do it on the entire thing. You can just touch. Look at that. It just gives it another level of dimension. Look, on the top, on the bottom, barely touched it. You know what? Why don't I do it? Corners. Oh, look at that. Sometimes that half the fun is in playing with what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'm just now touching spots on the bottle because I can. Okay? I'm going to close this up. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Crazy. Look at how beautiful that is. This is the difference. This is how we're making bottles magic, right? Devil's in the details. Oh, look at that. Look, those extra little details. Look at that. Look at the finial. All I did, I was probably off camera, for which I apologize. I was just using my finger and just swipe the areas that stick out, much as if, let's try it one more time. We're just giving it that sheen. Isn't that beautiful? Now look, that little bit of extra on top of, we have the double gilding waxes. We've done a lot of techniques, and this is where we are. So I think I'm gonna cut out here, and we're gonna move on to the jewelry. Let's get some jewelry on this puppy, shall we? Hey, thanks for joining me. Happy Sunday. This video got long. Love y'all.